Welcome back to My Hero Academia Anime Review, episode number 80. Wow, it's been a long time since I've actually had an anime review series hit this particular number. I think the last one I could think of to hit this number was, off the top of my head, I think it was either, I think it may have been Case Closed the last one, basically, that was like this. Yeah, I think Case Closed was the last official one. Yeah, I think that was the one. Now, this one is we're talking about the 103rd episode of the anime, One Thing at a Time. And this is what it covers. It is covering the rest of chapter 215, not 15, 45. Yeah, covering the last 4 pages of the chapter. 246 skips over the first 7 pages, probably because it was ill and stuff. The only chapter that gets a full straight adaptation for this episode is 247. And they go through almost the entirety of chapter 248, with the exception of the last page. And this is still more of the Endeavor Agency stuff. The thing starts up with Hawks. Yes, Hawks, arriving at the Meta Liberation headquarters, giving the briefing to Redestro. Yeah, this is his anime debut, and you can't instantly recognize his voice, but this was actually released, Funimation released an article about this, I think just a couple days ago, I think it was, where they announced that Redestro is going to be voiced by Sonny Surratt. I'm like, interesting. This is probably by far the second character in the series he's voiced, because the only other character he voices is President Mike. That's the only character he voices. That one, there was the reason why he took over that one. At least in the case of Redestro, at least it's not a character he took over a role from somebody else. This is a character he does for himself. And of course, in case you know who Redestro is, he's a son of Destro. He's a character that mentioned in the series. Now, the thing with Destro himself, no, this guy has nothing to do with the G.I. Joe character. He is the head of the Meta Liberation Army. Well, he was the head until the arc that came before this one, which is anime decided to skip over for some reason. I have no idea why. So at the debriefing, there is Mr. Compress, Toga, Dabi, and Twice, My Hero Academia's version of Deadpool. And he gives the briefing, and of course he likes apparently Redestro likes the fact that their philosophy book is being handed out to heroes. And of course, Toga basically is gushing at seeing the fact that Deku is active, because she likes everybody. That's the thing with Toga. And according to Dabi, they haven't changed very much. And of course, Hawks kind of agrees. Yeah, they're high schoolers. What do you expect? And after he finishes the conversation with them, he leaves, but he does leave behind a feather in the door in order to basically get a full debriefing on what they're saying. And he just wandered around Meta Liberation headquarters. It looks like a big mansion, from what I can tell, or it could be easily an apartment building. He goes to this one room that's blocked by this big bulky guy, tries to get in, can't get in. And then, of course, he walks off, and that's technically, well, you do see him in the flashback a little later on. Yep. Before I get to the whole stuff with Deku in the group, there's brief images you see Ochaku and basically a lot of the UA students at their agencies. Like you have Ochaku and Froppy at the Dragon Heroes agency. We have at Gang Orc, we have Earjack there. Tokyomi is back with Hawk's agency, obviously, because they're both bird-like people. Yeah, bird-like quarks, so why not? Everybody is at various people, and I like the fact they show that off here. I will get to basically later on what the next episode is going to be when I finish review. So we start off basically with kind of where we left off last week in the case of Endeavor, where he's in his office. This is, of course, basically like recapping from last week, where he's reading through the Meta Liberation book, where it's revealed that there's going to be an attack 4 months from this point. Basically, that is setting up the Paramount Liberation War arc, which comes right after this arc wraps up. Yeah, that's basically what it does. So, He comes out of his room, and of course, everyone's wondering what the heck Endeavor is doing. And of course, he only agreed to take Shudo, but Shoto, but of course, they have those other two here, and of course, Endeavor is like, I'll train the three of you. So basically, it gives them a breakdown. This is very similar to what happens in manga. So Deku pretty much explains about his power and the fact about the new whip. So he does give a lot of advice later on. Basically, don't focus on it that much. Just focus on improving the power you have currently, and just prove on the fly. And talk about parallel, like thought, whatever. Basically, try to do multiple things at the same time. Multitasking is what I'm trying to say. In the case of Bakudo, just better number one. Shudo, of course, they changed the angle of the shot. Basically, when he's like turning around in the manga, he's facing toward the right. Of course, in the anime, they changed to where he's facing the left. He's like, oh, you're only here to learn my signature move, Flame Fist. He's like, that's true, but I'm also been learning the moves you taught me, like, prove my right side, but I need to prove my left side as well, stuff like that. And they go on and go capture a villain. It's like, so, of course, I think it's supposed to be Shudo who points out, though, when he goes to catch the villain, is that he points out that he actually uses his own flame to increase his power, plus also he does it so he can basically capture villains pretty quickly and prevent collateral damage. Probably because he doesn't want to happen to his own district what happened when he fought the Nomu, where it caused a lot of damage. Or as big damage was caused during the fight between All Might and All for One. And of course, they later stop a truck from nearly running over a woman. And of course, Deku himself basically goes to check on the woman, as a hero should do. And of course, the driver, of course, has basically the Japanese way apologizes, just bowing to the person, like apologizing. And then later on, they have like some snacks, and then of course, like trying to prove their quirk, and well, that's it. So you get a little bit of expansion upon basically what we show here. Now, the stuff they cut out here from chapter 246, that's basically stuff with Todoroki. My guess is the reason they cut it out, it just deals with the villain stuff. That's probably the reason why. They probably just don't focus on the Endeavor Agency stuff. They probably take the villain stuff for later. Who knows? They might adapt those first 7 pages probably for a later episode. Who knows? But in the case of next week, are we going to continue with Endeavor Agency? Not really, per se. It's still technically part of the Endeavor Agency arc. But here's the thing. Unlike last season didn't have this. Now, season 3 did have one of these episodes, but season 4 didn't. Next week's episode is an original episode. Yes, the previous season did have these, but here's the thing. This one is technically, I think it's overall like the 4th or 5th original episode of the entire series. This was the second one they've had where it's a prelude to the movie. The 3rd one. Yes, that's pretty much what this episode is. It looks like from the image I saw, look like it's going to be a beach episode, which that's going to be something. A beach episode of My Hero Academia. Those mostly going after missing smugglers. And of course, the Endeavor HC is going to team up with Ochaku for this one, which I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, by the time you finish the arc up itself, basically, it feels like that the arc could continue a little bit more. But he had basically the writer of the series had to cut it off because the Paramount Liberation War had to be rushed through. Yep, so yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a good episode, and I can't wait for the next episode. And as far as I can tell, no, they're not going to skip week again. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much we're not going to get back to the actual canon stuff for the actual manga. Not for a couple episodes. Yeah, not until episode 105. That's when we're going to get back this one. Excuse me. Yes, that's when pretty much we're going to get back this. And basically, in case you're curious, so like how long is the Endeavor Agency arc? Is 152 chapters. So by the time you get to 105, there's only 3 chapters left. So we could presumably see this wrapped by 106. Yeah, I'd say probably 106. Definitely. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my next review, which is going to be One Piece. Okay? Next video. Bye.